Okay, hello there. I'm Dennis. In this video, I'm going to go over how I actually take care of the maintenance on my Arch Linux installation and the stuff I do. I try to do it monthly. Sometimes it's 5 weeks instead of 4 weeks, but it generally always starts off with an antivirus program. And in this case, it's Clam TK, which is a free and open source software. You go through your settings, and by default, none of these are going to be ticked. The only one that's going to be ticked by default is to check for updates. Well, you want it scanning for potentially unwanted programs and, what might be a virus. I always tick every one of those. I would suggest you do too, unless you have a specific reason not to. Next thing you do is you want to update. Okay, I've got that set already. I'm going to say update. We're going to say yes to check for updates. Okay, that was fast. And we're going to say scan a directory. And it defaults to scanning my home directory. Sorry, brain fart. Okay, so I'll say okay, and now it's going to scan. Let's see if I can expand that a little bit, if it'll let me. It's pretty demanding. When it starts, it takes control, which is okay. There we go. Now maybe I can move it. Maybe. It's hung up. Come on now. There we go. Stretch this out a little bit. That's not going to give us much more information, but you can see it's scanning all those files and folders now in my home directory. It's searching for all those things that we ticked. So every virus threat that's capable of being picked up by ClamTK, we've got it ticked. So I'm going to pause this video because this is going to take a minute. I think I will as soon as it relaxes and lets me have my mouse back. I'll be back. We're either finished or almost finished. If it'll let me. Come on. Maybe it's thinking my mouse or my picture is trying to figure out how to get rid of me. Come on. This is embarrassing. Come on. There we go. Okay, we're back and it's finished. And it actually picked up 4 potentially unwanted applications right here. PUA, that's a potentially unwanted application. PUP would be potentially unwanted program, which I guess technically they're not quite the same. But my options here, I'm going to Control A. It won't let me just select them all. I'm just going to say delete. Really delete this file. I'll cancel. I'm going to see if it'll let me. It won't let me select them all. I'm hoping they're all. Tell you, I'm just going to quarantine. Quarantine. That way if I need them, I can still go back to them and retrieve them. But things like names with Trojan and exploit, I'm probably not going to do that. Let me close back out of that. Where the virus? There we go. Okay, so that was just in my home directory. So now let's see if we can get to our root directory and say okay. It's going to scan our root directory. Now also, if you're diligent and you bring in a file that you don't know or not familiar with, go ahead and scan it right then, and you won't have nearly the problems of worrying about doing this. Where you're going to have to worry about problems when you do that is the buildup of the pups or PUAs out of Firefox or any other web browser that has cookies enabled and other things that might be a security risk. So this is going to be a lot of files, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video again, and I'll be back when it's either finished or right out finished. Okay, I'm back. That took a good little while, probably 40 minutes maybe. But it was worth it. It found 100 possible threats. And I want to show you the threats. You see most of them, I don't know, I'm going to scroll through, but at least from what I can see, they're all PUAs, potentially unwanted applications, which means they probably came in while I was browsing the internet. I mean, I don't go to no questionable sites or anything like that, just normal, typical search stuff, mostly to do with Linux. I think it's interesting that most of them say LibreOffice macro. Might be interesting to see. There's one that's a Trojan. I recognize that for sure. I recognize PUAs, PUPs from my Windows days. But we're going to, surely it don't make you just go, and you get all of them. Let's see, result, no, analysis. It's going to make me delete them one at a time. Surely not. Guess so. It's got to be a better way than that. Huh. Yeah. Huh. Control do it. Don't Control A. Control Shift A. None of that. One at a time. Looks like this may be something I need to do on a weekly basis because I don't want to do this. Alright, well I'm going to do this before I go on. So I'm going to pause and I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, I got all those deleted. While I was looking through those, I don't believe, and I feel pretty sure saying this, I don't believe a single one of those would have affected Linux distribution, although I don't want that garbage on my system, so I'm definitely glad I do it, and I'm going to go ahead and start doing it once a week after seeing that. That's not going to happen to me again. Alright, so I'm going to move on to the next step. Again, that's ClamTK, your graphical user virus scanner. Alright, the next step here, we're going to go to our terminal, and we're going to copy that. I could just type it in there, but since I'm already into this, I'm going to just copy and paste, and I'm going to hit enter. Alright, that was done. Now we're going to skip to this next one here, Pacman -key space in it. Here, when I get down here in a second, it's going to be on a long one. I'll explain some of these, what we're doing here. Next step is to populate the Arch Linux keyring. Where'd you go, terminal? Paste. Okay, so you notice sudo is being invoked on all of these, and this is going to take a minute, I do believe. So let me go ahead and back up. So the first thing we did was removed our GNU PG files. GNU PG file is used to manage Pacman's keyring, which is the collection of PGP keys used to check signed packages and databases. It provides the ability to import and export keys, fetch keys from key servers, and update the key trust database. Without that, you can't look at packages and verify them, the keys, you can't sign them or anything. Okay, that didn't take as long as I thought it would. Alright, so that was populated. Now we're going to refresh our keys. I'll put a note there. It says refreshes Pacman keys. I mean, it's right in the description here. Let me Control L to clear that screen. Paste. Hit enter. Yeah, this will be the one that takes a minute. It's going to go through, it says right there, 116 keys. Got bigger for you there, 116 keys. It's going to go through there, compare them and replace them, refreshing them. Next in the monthly maintenance is do the Arch Linux keyring. It's going to refresh the keyring. Then the seahorse, which seahorse is kind of funny. I didn't have a clue what that was first time I saw it. I actually saw it in the wiki. Didn't know what it was, but come to find out, it's a GNOME application for managing, guess what? PGP keys. So I found the command line here to replace the Seahorse, and what that'll do is it'll reinstall. Now you could preface it with needed and it wouldn't do anything probably, but it's good to refresh that. So all this other stuff is refreshed. We're going to make sure that even that is completely new. Here's a note I made about PUAs and PUPs. Potentially unwanted applications, potentially unwanted programs is a software that may be unwanted on the PC and sometimes comes bundled with freeware software. If you are not sure or not sure whether or not the software is legitimate, you can submit a scan log. Okay, so like I said, none of those, I don't believe anything I saw in that list that it picked up is going to be affecting a Linux system. Everything I saw, the PUPs or the PUAs in this case, I believe those were all geared toward Windows. But like I said, I still don't mean I want them on my machine. So you can see how long that's going to take. It hadn't even really, it's still reaching out to all the servers and shaking hands with them. Getting ready, basically. Supo, refresh Pacman key. Fresh keys. Okay, this one is next. I'm going to leave that highlighted. And that'll be next. And this is going to take a few minutes, so I might as well pause the video. Can't think of where to go right this second, so I'll pause it and I'll be back. I'll go ahead and come back. It's not anywhere near finished, but I thought for some of you that may not have actually seen this process, you might be interested in seeing what's going on with it here. And it's just really a whole bunch of email addresses, and it's comparing them. If they're not any good, if they're deprecated, then we'll replace them or just delete those, and it'll be picking up the new ones. 12 duplicate signatures removed right there. 12 signatures reordered. So it removed 12 at that point that were just duplicate, and it put in 12 more. Anyway, I thought that was interesting the first time I saw it. Like, what the heck? And it took a little while to figure out what was happening. I really am glad that you saw me run that virus scanner on a Linux system. I'm running Arch Linux with the XFCE4 desktop. It applies to all operating systems, I believe. You can get infected with a virus, and you saw that I did have potentially unwanted applications, and just say that I had copied that over to a USB drive, went over to a friend's house that run Windows, and I plugged it in and tried to open that up. Boy, he'd be mad at me. You don't want that on your system regardless if you can be affected by it or not, infected by it or not. But still, there are infections that are directed toward Linux. You would do good that every time you brought something in, all mine came in through browsing the internet. And that's through privacy probably settings that I haven't set up in Firefox. So that's on me. But however, you saw what it was. So from now on, I'll do that once a week, because I'm not going to sit through or have that many PUAs on my system just sitting there being a potential threat to whatever. Another thing that people think that you don't have to defragment it, Linux, and it's just not true. Now, it does not, and you'll see, I'm going to go through that here. You'll see it don't take near as long as Windows to defrag, even if it does need defragging. Windows, starting off with Windows 95 is the first one I can actually remember how long it took to defrag just a couple 100 meg hard drive. And then Windows 98 wasn't much nicer. However, it was fun to watch the little block squares. I don't know if you remember any of that. Then ME came along and it all changed, and it's still changed. And of course, XP had just a big bar across there, and I think that stayed with Vista too, I believe. I might be mistaken. I wasn't real familiar with Vista. I know on Windows 10, all you get is just a little dialog box. You don't even get to really see what's happening. We're gonna check to see if we need to defrag, and not only my home folder but my root folder. You'll see that progress in a minute here. So I'm gonna go ahead and might as well pause. It's gonna be another minute. I'll be back. Okay, so we got finished there. I'm gonna Control L to clear the screen. Control Shift V, that will put my next command in here, sudo pacman -s arch linux -keyring, and we're going to say yep. We want to do the installation, and I was going to say this will be a lot quicker. Alright, now we've got to do our seahorse. Say default is 1, let's keep it at 1, which is the GNOME keyring. Alright, Control L to clear the screen. Just slide this over. The next thing is to update. So sudo pacman -syyu. I'll hit enter and see if there's any updates available. We in essence have just replaced and renewed everything about Pacman, and there's nothing left to do. Okay, so the next step is to clear our Pacman cache. Now we can do this in the terminal like such. Sudo pack cache -rk, and 3 is what most people keep. We could hit enter right now and it's going to clear the pack cache. Take it down to 3. You'll have 3 existing files still left. Backups. Let me show you another way. You'll go to Pacman if you have that installed. You can go to Preferences. You'll have to put in your password and go to the cache right here. You can say clean the cache right there. If you hit that button, it'll take it down to 2. You can adjust it to 1 or whatever you want to do. I keep it on 2. 5 files, it says, can be deleted right now at 140. So that's at 2. I'm going to say okay, clean it. Alright, now I'm going to say close, close. Now let's go back to here, and if we repeat that, but with the command line, it'll say no candidate packages found for pruning. That's because we just did it through the package manager, Pacman. Okay, so now we're going to see if our system needs to be defragged. I'll make a note here. You should do your own investigation to find out, but I don't think you should probably ever do a solid state drive. So the command is sudo E4 defrag, all one word, space, -c, space, alright, slash, and in this case I'm going to check my home directory, and the C is to check, and that was quick. That's the fastest thing that's happened. Okay, so it checked all the home directory, and it said the fragmented score is 0. 0 to 30 equals no problem. 31 to 55, a little bit fragmented. 56 or above needs fragmented. I'm going to repeat that command. No, I'm not, because that's a S, and I need a C, and I need sudo. There we go. Why don't I just type that in there? Clear the screen. Say sudo E4, oops, fat finger, E4 defrag space -c slash or space slash, and that should check my root folder now. And it's checking to see if it needs to be defragged. And again, that was fast. Alright, our score is 0. 0 to 3, it tells us the same scale. And we scored 0, so no problems. And we're done. That takes care of all the maintenance that you should have to take care of manually. There's probably programs to allow you to do it graphically. You could probably set up cron jobs to do some of this stuff. Personally, I don't mind doing it. I just don't mind. I got the time and I don't mind doing it. That's the way it is. So, there we go. That takes care of this video. I do believe that covers doing our virus check. Replaced and removed everything concerning Pacman. Refreshed him. He's all brand new. We updated. We got rid of any package cache that we may have been collecting and saved up. Just loading up on our system that we don't need. We also run a virus scan and we found viruses, potential viruses right here on Linux. Need to check that. Well, I thank you very much for watching, and I hope that siren coming by now. Let me pause. Okay, so like I was saying, that takes care of all of our potential viruses, defragmentation. We've replaced our Pacman. That should take care of any kind of maintenance that you have problem with. Like I said, the antivirus, I'm going to start running that weekly because I'm not going to let it pile up on me like that again ever. I didn't realize that I'd been doing that much browsing, I guess. So anyway, monthly, you could probably even get away with every 2 months doing the Pacman key stuff, refreshing all that. I probably wouldn't wait. If you have any kind of problems and you don't know what's doing it, do these and just see if it helps. Never know. Alright, well thank you very much for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Before I go, I want to tell you what my next video is going to be. I did a video once talking about what my intentions were on all my videos thus far. And so far it's been to demonstrate the installation of different distributions, flavors, I guess you could call them, of Arch flavors, Arch distros. It's almost, to me, it's impossible to judge a operating system, or in my case, what I'm going through, a desktop environment, just simply by installing it. You have to actually live in it, do some stuff in it before you can actually have a good, honest opinion about what's happening in it. That's going to be my next series, and my next video will be living in GNOME, and it'll be 2 weeks. And the way I got it set up, I'm a week ahead of myself, so every week I should be able to post a new video of the upcoming desktop. Like I said, the first one's going to be GNOME. I think the second one is going to be Debian, but I'm not sure. I kind of like the Debian desktop, so I'll think about it. There's 5 or 6 desktops I'm going to live in, so it'll take me a couple of months to live in them and see what they have to offer besides my XFCE. Okay, thank you very much. I'll see you on the next video. Y'all have a good one. Bye.